Hello, 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 my friends. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. This is Big Jonas coming to you guys live Monday, December 9th, 2019. 21 days left until the end of the decade. 21 days left till 2020. Oh boy, time has flied. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Remember to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed my content on YouTube. And also hit that follow button so you can know exactly when I'm kind of putting out these live streams on YouTube. Always a pleasure to have you here. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Big Jonas. I'm a Bitcoin believer, crypto mentor, educator, chart explorer. I'm a leverage trader. I'm an investor, and I'm a YouTube creator. I work with a bunch of people, great analysts and traders over at the Flux Trading Group, fluxtradinggroup.com. Very easy to sign up now with our new sign up bot on the Discord channel. So just click along to the Discord channel there, and you will find a way to join the club. And let's get into it on some very interesting Bitcoin price action. We're 2 minutes away from closing out this current Bitcoin 4-hour candle. I did want to talk about the last 4-hour candle, which was quite vicious, and kind of discuss what specifically happened in this move here. And for that, I do want to go to I want to go to the 3 minute. When do I get the good? Maybe it's just the minute chart was really where it showed the peak to top. Yeah, the minute chart. So you're like, minute chart? Who's on the minute chart? Well, when you're scalping and when you're looking for that perfect entry, these are some of the time frames where one would watch when you see what appeared to be a breakout. And by a breakout, I mean we were actually able to break above this high here. I guess I'll go to the 3 minute because I'm running out of room here. There we go. So we were actually able to break just above the last place we wicked out here on December 7th. That was at $7,600. So we were able to get a higher high for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And then the market pretty much dumped into you now, or into those who were FOMOing in and or who had set entries with the break of this previous area of resistance. You can see we are still way below our overall spike here, our most recent meaningful spike that literally brought us to 7777. And as you can see now, as the day has progressed after this bull trap, we are clearly putting in a low and now a lower low as we are closing out, this 4-hour period after this major bearish candle here. So what happened here, and why was this a more meaningful move here? We have been trickling in the this above 7K acting as major support zone. We are basically trading in this below $7,800 major resistance zone. And we keep finding ourselves, you can say, channeling in two very distinct and intriguing channels. The first channel that I want to discuss, and I like finding and identifying channels because they really can create a very good roadmap for areas where we expect to find major support and resistance. And these wicks really can allow us to define, where our channels can be. Let me get rid of this here. And the overall pattern trend. Now, this is interesting here because we have a clear linear line up riding here, and we have price action on both sides. And what we've seen is that the price action on both sides of this center line of this channel here are kind of meaningless, because until they actually get to these lower areas or these upper areas here, does the price violently react? Because we're in this zone here of nothingness. I don't. There's clearly there's little trades here and there, but Bitcoin hasn't done this straight kind of rising sideways pattern in quite a while here. I'm not going to set the lower line here just yet because I'm still feeling that we can still go and break the 7K threshold again while still maintaining that higher low from our current bottom support at the 7,500 area. The resistance, though, on the upper end is what's also very notable here. Let me go to let's go to the hourly. Because, you know, again, people are looking for, where's the break? Where's the meaningful break of support and resistance here? And because we have held this 1, 2, 3, I guess I can go maybe here, really. There we go. Finding that resistance, thinking we were breaking out of that resistance, basically, right? And then just getting slapped back down again here. And then we were able to get out of the resistance there. So we are above this linear line here. Actually, let me see what log looks like. See if it completely changes the whole thing here. I'm trying to ignore the very top here just because this was a variation of hundreds of dollars across multiple exchanges. Oh, that's more better. See, look at that. See, well, actually, I'm not going to define that because we didn't have that line. I'd say we had more something like this. So there you go again. We had the break. Let me get very accurate here. There we go. So we had the break above, right? This was the resistance. This was our newest pivot here. And then we hit it again. And now here we go. Bull break. We're breaking above and whoops. So breaking these have been traps. Consistently. The volume in this move here was a little more notable than normal. And once again, this upper resistance line is holding. Now, fool me once, okay, but fool me twice, probably not. I think actually if we're able to get above this line here, which remember is falling, so it's not as easy to get above this line and especially hold it. It's not as hard to get above this line here because the gravitational pull down is helping us and do it for us. Middle channel support would basically be in the 6,500 zone and potentially either double bottoming or still finding that support once again. And then of course our lower channel can go all the way lower, and you can see how this channel basically does form something like that. Resistance, support, you know, all the way down here. Right there. Yeah, I guess I'd have to move this higher, wouldn't I? Boop. There we go. I still think, yeah, something like that. There we go. That feels a little better there. Boom, boom, over, trap, come down, support, back test, center channel line. Very close. And then we're basically right on it there and getting that rejection. Now, what kind of a rejection is this? Well, it's not much of a rejection, even though on the low time frames, you know, it looks very nasty so far. We are literally back where we were like 2 days ago, yesterday, you know. So clearly, if you went long here, you are not in the best position. If you went short here, you're gonna let this puppy ride till probably. I'd probably have my stop at this point around this area here, and that's what these wicks are representing. Leverage exchanges trying to get you out of your trade, trying to basically force you to you know, either move your stop loss a lot higher and the potential that we're going a lot lower there, or basically completely take you out. Because this 4 hour just closed, with the follow-up to what we had just seen here, which is a very nasty 4 hour candle here. I do want to bring up a couple moving averages just to get a sense of where we are here. And because of the 4 hour, still in the holding that bull cross, right? But look at that. We're now once again doing the double dip here and potentially going to break that. Now the 74.50 area does represent a meaningful area of support. On our higher time frames, you can see we still have a little bit of running room on the 6 hour. 12 hours still basically in that bear cross. So when I'm trying to analyze a chart and basically see what kind of a trend are we setting here, the EMAs and how they're swimming each other on higher time frames perpetually makes a difference. We're still way bearish on the daily. We're still bearish on the 12 hour. And what's interesting here is that we had our first rejection after trying to get this bull cross happening. We still have 4 more hours left in this current 12-hour candle, but this upper wick is very ominous here, especially with the way the candle body is shaping out on the higher time frame. We're going to get a lot more volume probably in the next 4 hours that will reciprocate this volume and the candle, making it a more meaningful move as a whole. Now, as I said here, we were getting this resistance here on the bear cross of our dailies here. Note how the EMA12 was acting as support the past several days here, but we just can't get to the EMA 26. They're able to test that. And today's closing candle, which is still 4 hours away, being able to not find that support, and there is something to be said about how wide we are here in a comparison to, this was our widest. We kind of came in a little bit here. We're coming in a little bit here. We're bringing our EMAs just closer together, and we think we're doing good, and then we fall off the cliff there only to get that whipsaw back. So what induces these moves here? Well, volatility, moves in the opposite direction. These are things that have been consistently basically emphasizing these bigger moves. And we need to get that volatility to come back in to get these springs and these V bottoms and these slingshots up here and these rising wedges here that can basically perform. But for now, the EMA 26, which is our yellow line there, we can see how meaningful that resistance was when we had this big spike up here. Okay, this was a great short opportunity here of the first touch of the EMA 12 after the bear cross there. Who's in the chat room right now? Chuck Amos, Prime, Rick Talgetti. What's up, buddy? Mr. Blaney, Made S, Andre, DS on Loire. Listen, it's nice to hear from you guys. If you guys are in the chat room, I'd love to say hello to you as well. Say hi to me. Big Jonas here. Also, 72 of my closest friends watching right now. Maybe I could get closer to 70 likes potentially. Thumbs up there if you see that thumbs up button. We definitely appreciate your support, as well as subscribing to the channel. It's Big Jonas here talking to you guys about Bitcoin on a rainy Monday where I am in the world. We can see here, there we go. Okay, so who I am, Joe28. What's up, Doxy? What's up, DWK8081? Hey, Christopher Norland. Raheel Tag, Big Jim 2223323. Thanks for saying hi. Always appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I want to do a little more work on the daily, and then we can kind of check out a couple other time frames and some big picture stuff. I'm a big picture kind of guy. I like being on the higher time frames to get a sense of the overall market. I have been watching the Bitcoin price action pretty much every day for the past several years now. Yes, it's true, folks. I do have very much of a weird life, as you can say. But after watching Bitcoin so many times, you get very comfortable with the ebbs and the flows. And we use our EMAs and our MAs, our moving averages. Our moving averages, they're just examples to tell us two things. Okay, is the lower period moving average above or below the higher one? The yellow one is my higher one. The peach one is my lower one. And when the lower one is above the higher one, we're in a bull market. We're in a bull trend. And we can see how significant this bull cross was here in mid-February, that was tested numerous times and held and held and held and held. And when we had our very first bear cross, that was your signal that this uptrend was potentially not going to hold the way we had seen it through the first part of the year. And sure enough, we had a bear cross to a bull cross to a bear cross. And this held. We had another bull cross here, and now we are in our bear cross territory. And we can see two things I look at. What is the spread? How far apart are our EMAs? Because normally when they're really far apart, to the extreme, 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 I rock the mic like a vandal. Okay, this is our blow off top. And this is our blow off bottom. And if you notice, they are the exact same separation from the higher period moving average. Now we are seeing what our current blow off top can look like here. Very wide spread, that last little push here, kind of a double there. And we're not there yet. I'm looking for a mirror image. I'm looking for a mirror image, just as these were great signals that did signify what happened there. And of course, we did have the second dip. We did have the second dip. We did have this second dip. And now we are looking for a similar reaction because we didn't get as high this time. We didn't get to 20K. Okay, and so far we haven't gotten back down to 3K. So this move here and our bottoming here, I think, will be a little more similar. And what I mean by that is we had parabolicness run amok here. We definitely did have this parabolic move here, but it wasn't as extreme. And what I mean by this is I'm looking for more of a gradual potential bottoming, or more of a pattern that we didn't see this last time. We all remember last time we had the ascending triangle, right? This was our ascending triangle pattern. It was forming. It took some time, okay? But it was real. Something different than yellow. I guess we'll do white. You can see it better. Okay, resistance, resistance, resistance. And then as soon as we hit that breakout point, boy, do we break out. Okay, so we have the defined pattern of the ascending triangle that basically created, you know, our allowed our bull market of the first part of this year to break out. Now, what will be the bottoming pattern? Okay, what will be the bottoming pattern? Now, this has to be a significant bottoming pattern. Why? Because this market sucks right now for the bulls. I can't be freaking bullish. I know it's something we all want, okay? It would be very helpful to a lot of our potential business interests if the market was a little more bullish right now, as well as our portfolios, obviously. But as we can clearly see, listen, I don't care if we're for the short term here, we are slowly putting in a higher low, low, higher low, higher low. Let's focus on the big picture, people. We are putting in a consecutive, unchanging, unrelenting consecutive series of lower highs, high, oops, oh, that's how you do it, high, lower high, lower high. This was our bull trap. Lower high, hey, we broke the high. No, we didn't. Actually, it really didn't break the lower high because it's still, the wick was just a hair lower, 10.5, 10.8. So yeah, lower high, lower high. And the inverse of that, we have had these lower lows. And that's the bad part, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. So we know where our lower channel is, right? And where a next lower low would be around something around here, low 6Ks maybe. Okay, and remember, depending upon how much time it takes us to kind of run this, you know, high 5Ks. But as you can see, there's a more or less spacing, except for this one. This one took a longer time here because we actually had a nice pattern of triangle consolidation on the break. But as you can also see, my friends, we are hitting the center channel line and it is holding. It is holding the resistance. It is holding that resistance. Now, that resistance, if broken, we know where we can go, right? We know where we can go to the upper crust of this channel, which we can't ignore because of how many times more or less the up, the middle, and the down have been tested. Now, this upper channel could take us, back to almost 9K. Now, wouldn't that be great, right? The problem, though, is are we kind of run into the same thing we keep having the issue with here, is that this upper channel becomes mega, mega, mega resistance. This intra-candle, intra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, where it was actually above $10,000. This move took out all the shorts that were still in their shorts and were prudently lowering their stop loss to protect their profits from being able to get this short here. And because Bitcoin fell so quickly from 9.6 all the way down to 8.5, there's $1,000 window here that is showing that Bitcoin can move very quickly between $8,500 and $9,500 very quickly. This up to 10.4 it went above the range before the breakdown, and it basically took out all the shorts that were sitting very healthy in profits, okay, from legacy, even potentially being up here or up here, still in their shorts, and took a large chunk of that off the books on the exchanges, and then you just continue your overall downtrend. So this move here, where crypto Twitter got really bullish, literally just canceled a lot of very healthy shorts, and then continued the trend, which has not changed, my friends, since July. And we have been doing this for 160 days of lower highs, of lower lows, and that trend is not changing as we see ourselves hitting this middle line of resistance on declining volume, on balance volume. Okay, looks a little head and shoulders-ish, if I must just say so. The very first thing that just popped in my head right there is this. We shall see. OBV was very bullish, and not just very bullish, but giving us the signal of a bullish divergence to the price action of Bitcoin on the way up. And now that signal, poof, it's gone. Daily RSI, we have had a double rejection right here at the 45 region. I do talk about how being above 50 is so important, but look at this resistance, 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 resistance. How strong is that? And how interesting it had acted as support zone other times as well. A lot of history here, but there's that resistance. And if we can find that support and break above 45 on the RSI, that would be notable because we've yet to do it this month. Daily stochastic. Okay, now I was actually looking for this next little push higher because we had that running room. Unfortunately, we didn't get much of the price movement that we were kind of looking for there. And now we are on the top line, and as you can see on the daily, we can, when we're in a bullish market like in June, okay, like when that put-up share at the end of August, which was notable. We basically went from 9,200 to almost 12K. Once we hit the top here, we pretty much hit the top, and the last several of them have been very quick turnarounds. Okay, almost a spike high here on our blue, top off here, top off here. Okay, and we can also see we've gotten one shot, one shot, one shot. One shot, once again, is holding and is basically the pattern we continuously see. So what we've done here is we've arranged and ranged our stochastic here from the lows to the highs, and we're more or less in the same area of price. So we've basically done a full run here, and we're kind of stuck where we were the last time from a price standpoint here. These can do patterns as well. We could come back down here, do another shoulder, and do something like that, which we haven't seen for a little bit here actually. So maybe we're due for another H&S on the Stoke. It's our CMF. We keep on flirting with zero line. There it is. We're ducking our head again under it. And this could be a very nice M top here on our resistance. We're trying to break the trend here on our CMF that has been this downward channel, more or less, right? We're on the verge of basically breaking that, which would be significant, and sending our CMF to a more positive money flow standpoint on the daily, which, as you can see, literally marked the top of our market here at the end of June, and has been putting in high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, first higher low. But is it a trap? Only with the support of our zero line can I feel it's not a trap. And for right now, we are literally right there. Literally right there. So these are things that we are watching on our oscillators to determine, again, on the daily chart here. Now, this is our MACD, our moving average conversion diversion. Okay, yeah, we got a bullish histogram here. Okay, it's not terrible, although today we are seeing the signal of the lower high potential still forming. We're way below our zero line here. Okay, but we are in a bullish cross right there. So that's not the worst thing there. But two things I want to emphasize. We haven't, this peak here, and especially with these 3, 1, 2, 3. I want to see this on the downside. I want to see 1, 2, 3. And the third one is our reversal. That's what I want to see. A mirror image of our up on the down. And that would be created with having us roll over now or the next couple days here. Maybe go a little higher on our histo. But if we fall below our zero line here on our histo, we can definitely have newer running room moving lower. I don't see, how do I say this? So I don't see this as bullish divergence yet. And the reason I bring this up is I've seen a bunch of charts, a bunch of people talk about where the heck is the price action? There it is. There we go. Okay, so there's our lows. This is our October low, and now we're here. Oops, let's do this. So, okay, there's our higher low in our MACD. Here is our lower low in our price action. But this doesn't blow my socks off here, mostly because these are happening within the negative of the MACD, with below the zero line. This would be more meaningful if we were above the zero line and we were finding the price action basically put in a lower low, a higher low in the MACD above the zero line with a lower low in the price action. But we're just not seeing that yet. And again, what we had just shown, I showed you just earlier on our OBV, you know, where this is our consolidation. This was our basically head of our spike. This is our lower low consolidation here. And then to repeat the constant low here of our neckline, the continuation, we can do a very simple one-to-one of our neck to head. And basically wherever that breaks is the coordinated lower low there. Now we can do this on multiple time levels, and that basically shows that little H&S here into potentially a much more meaningful H&S here. Shoulder, this was our head, this was our shoulder, and now we are basically doing this. The thing about this year's worth of price action is the fact that we have these very bullish chunks, okay? These very bullish chunks where we have this zone where the price flew. It was easy money. What do I mean by easy money? You just had to go long and strong, and you rewarded and rewarded and rewarded. And that last one, which was basically right here, okay, we've lost this guy here. We've given all this back up. This last push here, 8K to 13K, gone. All that easy money, all this easy money here is just annihilated. It's gone because of all this. It blew it all up. If you, all the longer term hodlers, all the investors who came in here, they're gone. Blew it all up. Well, what about these folks? What about these folks? These easy money people. Okay. Do we have to get them, okay, to capitulate their holdings? And how does that happen? Well, look where we are now. Oops. We broke through on this wick here. Okay. We actually went to a lower low than this little guy right here. Now, I remember this day very clearly. Bitcoin was going crazy bullish. We were at $8,300. We had this flash crash down to $6,600, only to get bought up very quickly here. This move did one thing, as I was talking about, very similar to this move here on the way up. It took a lot of longs that were in the easy money, okay, doing a trailing stop loss, rising up to a trailing stop loss, okay. It took them out of their trades, out of their profitable trades, only to keep the momentum and keep the overall trend consistent. That's the same thing that happened over here on the reverse end. Take all these shorters that were in easy money, especially these guys here, out of their trades, okay, and maintain the trend consistent. And so far, nothing is changing. This was our bull market of the first part of this year. This is our current bear market of the second part of this year. We did start the year, as you remember, where is it? Right here, somewhere around $3,700. So let's face it, it's still a good year of Bitcoin, okay? We start at 37. We are right now a little lower here, 7,350. You know, we're up just a hair under 100%. That's not a bad move in any asset you can definitely count, but it is notable to think about how much higher we were, over 250% at the peak here, and how significant of gains have been given back. We were as high as almost 10 grand up on one Bitcoin for the year, and now we're as high as $3,500 up on one Bitcoin of the year. Still very nice, still a very good year, but clearly it depends on when you actually got on the train here. I do want to look at a couple more things here as we are cruising right along. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me today on this rainy Monday. Hope the sun is out where you guys are. 78 of my closest friends watching me live right now. 42 thumbs up. I do appreciate that. Maybe we can get a couple more before the end of the chat today. Also remember to hit that follow, that like button, and also guys, I'm on Twitter at Big Jonas, and I'm also part of the Flux Trading Group, fluxtradinggroup.com. Check out our Discord group, lots of great material, educational stuff we talk about in there. And we're going to expand to a lot more video content in the coming year, so very excited about that. And we can definitely be your one-stop place to be if you are interested in this market, trading it, investing in it, knowing what the hot plays are and what charts look very promising. I do want to talk about Fibonacci because it's very meaningful still and very accurate in addressing where we currently are. So let's think about this as just this particular market. Okay, our current swing low, December 14th, which is 5 days away from our yearly anniversary of our low there, to our high of 13.8 over here. Okay, we are seeing swing low, swing high. We are seeing our golden pocket still holding support, right? This is still notable that this is a major zone we want to find support held. 61.8, 65. You can see we've yet to put a closing candle below the 65 on the daily chart. We were broken it twice intraday. Never broke it though. And we are still holding above the 61.8, which would be 72.29, albeit by a couple of bucks. The 5.5 for me still remains that meaningful target, but as you can see, our highs of the 29th, the 4th, and more or less today are hitting the bottom low end wicks of this support here back in September. That was support. Nice little bounce here. We broke it very quickly and then we got that major bounce. Okay, so what was support is now multiple times has been hit as resistance. Multiple times. There we go. And that is notable that we are unable to do a SR flip because of this meaningful resistance. But we are still holding above golden pocket. Very important, any closing candle below 68.80, give or take a few dollars, okay, is very bad, very bad. And as you can see, the 786 at $5,400 does coincide with our next meaningful area of price history between there and here. There is clear air. Let's make the clear air 40. Boom. This is clear air. Okay. Nothing here to support the price at all until we get something below $6,000. That's why it is so important for Bitcoin to maintain this golden pocket support, continue to build off it somehow. But the bull is wounded. We know this. The market knows this. They smell blood. And for now, well, if you're looking to find that great entry, that what's cheap Bitcoin, patience in this process may be your best friend to see what will induce a major bounce or a more meaningful uptrend. We can remember that this bottoming here, it didn't just happen overnight. It took date range. It took 110 days. It took almost 3 months of this consolidation here to break out and to expand Bitcoin quite significantly. Okay, these things take time. A bottoming of this cycle here will potentially, and here's the kicker, I'm not entirely convinced it will take as much time. And I think the reason for that is A, how we do it, and B, when we do it. And doing it means get some sort of a major capitulation move, something like this, something like this V bottom we had back in Feb of 18, that shakes out all the longs and creates a, whoa, we went way lower than we should have, and the market knew it and produced a gorgeous market breadth here for quite some time until that was, of course, broken with the lower low here. So there's that perspective. And then the other perspective is that what if we are still in our pullback from this run here? What if this isn't as much of a nasty, bearish channel here, but this massive just bull flag, right? Definitely a possibility until proven otherwise. Of course, proving otherwise would bring us, a lot lower, and that would basically negate the flag. The longer this goes, the more this is not the chance of that. But because our flag is still significantly smaller than our pole, and that's only a good thing in charting. We know this. That's still a possibility. And what we are watching is our swing high of Bitcoin 20K to our lows here of Bitcoin 3K. We have the clarity of resistance at the golden pocket right here as our top, literally right dab smack. There's the wick, 13.8, boom, there it is. We broke the 236, which was great support. This was great support back in the day, right? Back when we were on our rise up. Look at that, 236, there it is. There's the support. We never lost it until now. We lost it, came back above. Why? If you're wondering why we bounced here on this candle on December 4th, it's because we touched the 236 again. There it is, 71.16-ish. But as you can see, we're holding it. And if you can hold it, you can basically say, all right, the 382. And why the 382? Why is that important? Well, look, people, look how so accurate the 382 resistance was. Every freaking daily candle. Touch, 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 touch. Reject, 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 reject. Could not get one closing candle above that that fib area of support, right? Great support here. Now mega resistance. And here we are once again. So you break the 236, and yeah, there's nothing else until the zero line here. And so this is the sense that Bitcoin is still trying to get back up the mountain. We got rejected at the golden pocket. Bulls want the support to hold here. Trickle up 382, back to the 5.5. Golden pocket resistance, come back a little bit, 7.86, 8.4. All-time high, and then we really start cranking into a bullish market there. Whoops. But the bearish scenario is that we keep trickling lower and lower and lower. Now, here is something that is different this time than the last time. And as all you people know, well, not all you people know, as a lot of you people know, we are in halving season. And halving will happen around April, May, 7th, 10th. I think we're around the 14th now is our day. Now, what does this mean? It means the block reward will be cut in half. It means the inflation rate of Bitcoin will get closer to 2%. It means the mining and the relationship to profitability based on electricity use will become much more tighter than it currently is. And this event can establish a potential base of meaningful support for Bitcoin. And what this means basically is that $6,000 could become a floor or a primer because of the cost of mining the closer we get to that halving period. Now, it does potentially give the potential for we go lower before we go higher. We do know that every entrance into past halvings, Bitcoin has been in an uptrend. Okay, not the most bullish uptrend, but in an uptrend to say the least. And this can happen really anytime before May. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ahead. But if we are going to think of history repeating itself, we could see that uptrend heading into May, which means between now and May would be that bottoming time that we may be able to see in Bitcoin price action. I want to wrap up with just some general thoughts of the overall market. Okay, if you're a leverage trader, and I've been doing some leverage trading on dudex.com. If you want to try that out, dudex.com/BigChonas is my affiliate code. You can get a free, I believe it's $10 for just signing up in BTC. And if you put a minimum of 0.2 BTC there, exclusive with my affiliate link, you get an extra $100 of free BTC. So that is notable and a great opportunity to play around with leverage trading. Because remember, even in a bear market, there's plenty of money to be made by shorting the market. But you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta protect yourself. And the most important thing in this market is risk management. Okay, there are times where you can really let it going and let it fly, and there are times where you have to be prudent. Okay, and seriously, it's hard to not trade. It's hard to not see a bullish candle and want to get in on it, right? FOMO is a very powerful force. I know it just as much as you guys do. I have been wrecked before. Okay, Big Jonas, have definitely been wrecked before. But what I've learned from those experiences and what has kept me around this long and kept my bankroll still around this long is being able to protect it and not get too ahead of myself and too anxious in these trades. I'm not looking for the nut bottom. I'm not looking for the nut top. I take profits along the way. Sometimes maybe I sell a little too soon, but if it's in the green, if there's a plus sign next to that overall BTC versus a minus sign overall into that BTC, I'm a happy camper and keep chipping away at this. I mostly do swing trading. I mostly do scalp trading, which are on low time frame and taking advantage of overbought conditions or oversold conditions on these low time frames, mostly the 5 minute and the 15, using my oscillators, using my indicators to get a sense of when the market's too overbought or too oversold. Great opportunities for entries and exits, and just getting in and getting out. There are days where I can take several trades on both sides of the market, or there are days where I'm just long and strong or short and strong because I don't like how the price action goes. So far, the shorts are winning today because they got the longs to load the order book on this push, on this slight break of the resistance turned higher high break here, only to trap them in. And when you build up those liquidity books, you basically get enough money there to then dump on. And these are the reasons why we see these spikes get sold off in, because you get enough of that order book built up, and then some of the big money players then have enough of that liquidity out there to dump on the market. I want to look at just a couple more things here. Question about from Carlos Sanchez. Do I think altcoins are gonna bleed more? So there isn't enough money in Bitcoin for the big Bitcoin holders to just dump all their Bitcoin at this current price. They don't want to do that. They would kill the market. There's not enough liquidity on the books. You'd have to OTC it or spread it around multiple exchanges and then coordinate some sort of a market sell. So how do you take that and disperse it into other ways. Well, you can do that. Um, with the altcoin market by basically spreading money on the altcoins, letting them pump up a little bit there, and then liquidating your BTC on the altcoins and allowing that to then flow into the market. So you're basically having another avenue to basically sell your Bitcoin there. Come on, are we stuck here? Come on, crypto. I'm trying to show you guys the market cap. It is loading here and taking some time, but it looks like it's still at 68%, and the market cap remains at 68%. Well, trading VE sucked today. And that basically shows that we're not really seeing in that dominance yet. Bitcoin really losing steam here. We have literally been in this range of the high 60s for, looks like since, I mean, geez, all the past 4 or 5 months, we've just been stuck in this range. Yes, there are some altcoins that have been able to do a little bit better than other ones, been able to show they have more of a meaningful uptrend, and those charts are seemingly independent of themselves. But Bitcoin dominance still remains up here. Now, if we start slipping, if BTC dominance does get below, really 67.5 was a very good area of support here. If we start losing this area, okay, then yes, we could definitely have a more sustained alt run. And that would mean that Bitcoin really is just holding a stable level. I cannot see Bitcoin pumping and alts pumping more. I can't see Bitcoin dumping and alts dumping a lot less. Maybe a little less, but not a lot less. So BTC dominance is strong still, and I can't get behind putting a significant amount of money into play in the alt market, because one little dip in Bitcoin just takes the alts out. And we can see any nice little bullish traction has just taken them out. And yes, we've had some great runners over the past several weeks. A couple of them have been quite notable. This stupid one here, Tomo, and Band has been kind of on an interesting chart here as well. A couple other ones. I don't want to name anything specific. But yes, stuff like Matic, okay, can definitely happen when you have the perfect storm of pumping with a very good looking chart of consistent uptrend holding there, and then the breakout. This was an opportunity, though. You can also see, this is kind of how I see this, as, load a bunch of BTC in here, pump the market 200%, scale out with just a great gainer there, and then that's it. We're done. On to the next one. So these individuals are definitely having some nice moves, but when Bitcoin stumbles, as it's doing today so far, nothing is safe. Nothing is safe, and that continues to remain the case. GBTC stock, okay, this is kind of an outlier for Bitcoin. As you can see here, it is now bearishly diverging slightly on Bitcoin. This was bullishly diverging the whole way up, and this was an issue where we were basically seeing a premium. Remember, there's a premium on this, so you're paying a little bit more than the actual one-to-one spot value holding of Bitcoin. But this is a way where institutional money is more easily able to get into Bitcoin, because you can buy this in your Fidelity or Ameritrade, stock portfolio. So I do watch this to see if we're getting more of that Wall Street money, that everyday investor money. And for now, there's nothing about this that's telling me this ain't really major trend change in this whatsoever. So, all right, guys, I guess it's been about an hour. I think it's great that we've been able to hold on to 78 of my closest friends watching me here on this interesting day of Bitcoin price action, where we are still trending in a pretty much sideways price for a couple weeks now, give or take a few $100s in either direction, but nothing meaningful other than the fact is that for Bitcoin to maintain any sense of the bullish posture here, the $6,500 area, which can be a very meaningful area of support because of the history we have with it back here, it literally represented the last ever so slight bullish push of Bitcoin, okay, before the collapse. So I am optimistic that that was hit. There was our breakdown. There is our current support, right? What was major resistance could now be major support. That's great. That's a good story to tell. But is it enough? Is it going to be enough? And if we end up trickling back down here once again, I don't see how this holds in perpetuity. And then once if there is that break of the $6,500 zone, as I said before, there's good and quick running room lower. There are a lot of things that are going to happen for Bitcoin over the next several months of the new year. We're going to get a significant resolution to the Tulip Trust, which could be potentially devastating for the price action of Bitcoin or potentially very bullish and stabilizing. But either way, we're going to know, because if there is a Tulip Trust of 1 million Bitcoin, and if a major part of that has to be liquidated to pay for taxes, then we are going to see hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin have to be dumped on the open market, on the OTC. Period, regardless of what the chart looks like or this or that, if taxes are owed on that portion of the Tulip Trust going to the other guy, I can't remember his name right now. And if that's the case, that could be a significantly meaningful event for the history of Bitcoin. And to see that possibility, that matzo ball is hanging out there of a potential, could definitely be very meaningful as we get into the year. But as I said earlier in the show, and as we know from just basic history of previous Bitcoin halvings, we have been in uptrends. We could be in an uptrend as we get closer to May of 2020. And between now and the halving, Bitcoin could take many routes, okay? We have seen them in an uptrend, but there's definitely the possibility that we can go lower before we go higher until we get any meaningful resolution. I want to believe that Bitcoin can maintain the logarithmic mean line of support. We have a history to that line holding all the way through, all the way up. We're basically, and again, this is subjective depending upon wicks and whatever you want to hold, but I'm pretty happy with, this to this, but maybe we're actually this to this, where we have been under it, popped up, came back below, got rejected, came back below, broke above it, found support, and now Bitcoin does find itself on the underside of this meaningful line, which means if we can get back above it, I can definitely get a lot more bullish for the future, trickling higher and higher and bringing our price action to the promised land. But the longer we stay below it, potentially get rejected again, this could put in a whole new dimension to Bitcoin price action, and more importantly, the significance of Bitcoin being able to maintain this line of support. So just to wrap it all up here real quick, I guess I'll do the daily just kind of wrap up the daily chart here. Even with today's mild fuckery, again, until we really start breaking below, I'm just going to call it 7K. You know, we've had some nice supports, okay, but maybe 68, 69. We really got to hold above 69. And if we get above 78, okay, really it's this range here that is just major resistance and continues to be resistance. We are still holding ever so slightly our low, our higher low, and our higher low on today's current price action. Okay, if this fails, that would be very bad, but we could definitely find ourselves maintain this higher low support and going one more time to test this area here. And the more times we do that, the better chance that this could be a little ascending triangle here that may just offer a nice bullish reaction to a future break of it and parallel move to the upside here. That's something that has to play out. But as you can see, this can definitely take us, pretty much to the end of the month, the end of the year in this consolidation here before something meaningful happens. December has been very cruel to Bitcoin up here and very nice to Bitcoin down here. So what will this December bring? Stay tuned to find out. And with that, this is Big Jonas talking to you guys for a solid hour today on this Monday, December 9th. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. Much appreciate your support. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Big Jonas. Remember to check out fluxtradinggroup.com. Always appreciate your support. We'll see you next time. We'll talk to you on Twitter, and we will keep you guys posted and informed on what I am seeing in the market, because this market, which has definitely been a little frustrating and boring over the past several weeks, as we get closer to the end of the year, I think will be a lot more dynamic. So until next time, Big Jonas. Love you guys. Peace.